We just had chapter 56 from the Dragon Ball manga drop on us, which was a huge step in the right direction. But regardless, I want to talk about what I call the Dragon Ball problem. In order to discuss this problem, we need to start at the beginning of Dragon Ball. We have our main character Goku, who later gets introduced to characters like Krillin, who becomes his direct rival. They both get trained under Master Roshi and later meet new people like Yamcha, Tien, and Chiaotzu. Despite Goku being the clear strongest here, the gap in power was still manageable. Krillin could give Goku a good fight, as we see in the 21st Budokai, and moving forward, seeing Tien also give Goku a good challenge because power levels weren't everything at this point. Moving forward though, this is when everything started to change. Beginning of Dragon Ball Z, we get introduced to our first Saiyan and learn that Goku is also a Saiyan. Raditz at this point in time is just so much stronger than the human characters, and they are left behind, leaving the fight to Piccolo and Goku to handle. Fortunately, this didn't remain a problem for long, as the humans were asked to go to train with Kami, and all of them got significantly stronger. During the Saiyan saga is when things just started falling apart for the humans. Yamcha, Tien, Chiaotzu, even Piccolo, all dead, leaving Krillin as the only human left along with Gohan. They both would have ended up dying as well, but luckily Goku showed up in time. Here is where the power gap really showcases. Goku handles Nappa no problem, after all of the Z fighters struggled and most of them even died, and yet Goku takes out Nappa with one attack. Then we move over to Vegeta, who is significantly more powerful than Nappa, and now Goku is struggling to keep up with Vegeta, pushing himself to his limits with Kaioken. So now we have Goku being able to multiply his base power up to 10 times. Imagine that for a minute. Base form Goku, for the sake of argument, is already stronger than all of the Z fighters, including Piccolo. And yet Goku can multiply that power 10 times. So how do we fix this problem? Our Z fighters are already so far behind. Do we introduce Kaioken to the others? Nope. In all of Dragon Ball, Goku is the only person we ever see know how to use Kaioken. Despite the others being on King Kai's planet, they didn't really learn much of anything from King Kai other than get some training in. If you want to know more about this argument, I talk all about it in my Krillin vs Tien video, which I will link in the description. Now, despite this power gap, Krillin, Gohan, and even Yajirobe, despite being significantly weaker than Krillin and Gohan, are able to be very useful and still play a vital role helping Goku win. In fact, without them, Goku would have lost for sure. So now Krillin and Gohan head to Namek, and here they both play a very important role to the series. They even technically become the main characters for a significant portion of it. Here we get to see Krillin and Gohan both get a huge power up from Guru, but they also get a lot of real world fighting experience, fighting the strongest villains, including the strongest of them all, Frieza. We even get to see Piccolo come back and get a power-up fusing with Nail and giving Frieza a run for his money. My point of all this is that the Z Fighters are still useful here, and still play an important role to the overall story arc. It's from this moment forward, however, that things change drastically. We now get to witness maybe one of the most iconic moments in all of anime, and that is Goku transforming to Super Saiyan for the first time. Don't get me wrong, seeing this happen was mind-blowing, and I remember how much this affected me back in the day. I would come home from school, turn the TV on, change it to channel 25, put it on YTV, and yeah, that's a shout out to all you Canadians. I would just be on the edge of my seat, hoping nothing bad happens to our favorite characters, but then Krillin died, and I was furious. Him being my favorite character, it really affected me, so seeing Goku's reaction to it all, and him losing his best friend, is how I felt inside too. So his rage and that moment will be remembered forever for me. However, we now have introduced the Dragon Ball problem. You thought Kaioken was already pushing the gap? Oh boy, that was nothing compared to this. Goku is simply in a league of his own at this point. It's borderline impossible for the others to catch up to him. No amount of training is going to close a gap like this, when you can, with a flick of a switch, multiply your power 50 times and call it a day. Imagine going to the gym with your buddy, you both are roughly bench pressing the same amount, and then he just changes his hair color, and he can now bench press 50 times more weight than you. This is exactly the same situation, but we are all just in awe at how cool it was that we overlooked how this was about to become a huge problem in the franchise. So the android saga comes around and everyone is training, but it doesn't even matter anymore because androids are stronger than Super Saiyans, and now that isn't even enough to handle the villain. But then Cell comes around and now Saiyans have to achieve a new form in order to defeat the villain. Do you see the problem with what I just said? The Saiyans need a new transformation in order to win. This is what the show becomes moving forward. We get introduced to Super Saiyan 2, then Super Saiyan 3, then Super Saiyan 4. Okay, maybe not Super Saiyan 4, that one doesn't exactly count, but it is by far the coolest transformation. So notice a trend here, Saiyans get a new power up over and over and over again. It doesn't even stop there. They then get Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, then Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue, and the list goes on. It just becomes complete chaos at this point. But what about everyone else? No one else got any significant power up during all this time. Piccolo got one when he fused with Kami, and other than that, everyone was completely sidelined. As a huge Krillin fan, and a fan of all the original Dragon Ball characters, this hurt a lot to see, seeing them being treated like this. Why was Toriyama not providing anyone else with cool power-ups and abilities, despite constantly making the Saiyans stronger and stronger? I also felt like no one saw this glaring problem. Everyone was on the Saiyan trend and just wanted more Saiyan transformations, as people simply saw Saiyans as the only thing that mattered and forgot that everyone else existed. The Dragon Ball problem was starting to seem like something we simply were just gonna have to live with and accept that it was just gonna become the Goku and Vegeta show. But I started to slowly notice a shift within the fan base. People were wanting more diversity, and I think Fighters, the Dragon Ball game, helped with this a lot, because when you push power levels aside, you realize the humans literally have the best moves and techniques in the entire show. Krillin has maybe the strongest attack of them all with Kienzen, and same goes to Tien with Kikoho. Master Roshi has a lot of really cool abilities as well, while Chiaotzu can utilize psychic attacks that we rarely see in Dragon Ball, and even Yamcha's fighting style is super fun to watch and unique. So how do we fix this? How do we bring more diversity to Dragon Ball? Well, I had the answer already, and I even had this video ready to be filmed, but then Toyotaro, who is now in charge of the manga, dropped chapter 56 and fixed all of the problems in one chapter. He brought back all of the Z fighters. Not only that, he also got them stronger and got them to deal with villains scattered across the planet while Goku and Vegeta aren't there. This is how you do it. Create multiple villains for our heroes to fight and match them up accordingly. The issue before was creating one major villain that was so strong that only Goku in the end could handle it, leaving everyone on the sidelines to watch. When you create multiple villains in a hierarchy of those villains, you allow them to be various power levels, meaning all of the heroes can fight and be useful instead of just standing around, but this also lets us see them go all out and see them progress as well. Toyotaro did just that and changed Dragon Ball. I saw all the comments from people and everyone seemed overjoyed to see the humans doing something relevant and actually taking a win. This is how we fix Dragon Ball moving forward. We need to move away from the one villain mindset. This can work time to time and have some Goku and Vegeta focused arcs, but we should also have Z fighter focused arcs. This also helps make things less stale and boring. Imagine seeing Krillin fighting an opponent, then you think he's down and out, but you see him unleash Kaioken. How exciting would that be? And not just learn it, but he masters it in a way maybe Goku never could. The same can be said for the other Z fighters too. Or create an entirely new power-up unique to the characters. The ideas are endless. It simply comes down to a good writer writing stories for everyone instead of writing yourself into a corner focusing only on Goku and Vegeta. I hear some people make the argument, well, it's because no one cares about the human characters and only wants Super Saiyans. I simply disagree with this. People want Super Saiyans because they're the ones being written well and getting all the exciting things to do in the show. As I already mentioned, if we show the same love and respect to the other characters, they will get to do awesome things as well, and naturally people will like them, and fans who already do like them now have something to cheer about and show off why they love these characters to begin with. Imagine being a Yamcha fan all of these years, but since he's barely written into the story, there's not much opportunity for a Yamcha fan to speak up. But now that he got a moment in the latest chapter, they get to be excited about it too. This goes for everyone as well. Giving moments to all the characters is important for the fan base. So despite the Dragon Ball problem that we've had for years, it actually looks like we are moving into a new era, and it's one that I am so incredibly excited for. What do you think about the humans getting unique power-ups, and do you want to see more from the Z Fighters moving forward? Or do you want it to still only be about the Goku and Vegeta show? Let me know in the comments below, hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That's it for this one, I'll see you in the next video.